5 years. We waited 5 years for this. What a test match. Okay, the number 1 ranked team in the world, Ireland, versus the defending, reigning, mighty Springboks in Aviva Stadium. Man, I wouldn't even say that. I actually would consider this game a draw because I just don't think that either team won the game because this was so close. It was like one of those wrestling matches where both wrestlers, I know wrestling is fake, both like wrestlers are down and the referee's like counting to 10 and the one guy managed to like just get up before the other guy and the referee's like, you won, and it's like, you know, it's like it's so close. Like it's just a hairline away for, you know, for the Springboks who could have won the game, right? So it's just, and this was just one of those games with absolutely brutal trench warfare, war of attrition. We literally saw bodies blowing each other up, like the two teams just blowing each other up constantly. Neither teams were able to like get much forward momentum this game. Just shows you how like insane the defense was for both teams. Like both teams were literally like going backwards in attack. So like it was more like ironically, it was like more beneficial for teams for either teams to defend that because they actually get more territory from defending than attacking by pushing the attack back with their rush defense and just like impeccable timings with attacks. It was absolutely brutal, right? But everybody wants to address the elephant in the room, and I know if you're a Springbok fan, you're screaming when the second try, the Mac Hansen try was scored. Surely there was a forward pass, right? I can't be the only one in the world who saw the forward pass before Hansen scored in the corner. So basically, this Irish had the Springboks had a messy ruck, and the ball popped out, and the Irish players rushed, basically recovered the ball, and then they quickly spread the ball out to the wing, and Hansen goes in for the try. And I swear by the head of Lomu, right, rest in peace, there was a forward pass between two forwards in this sequence of play before Hansen scored into the corner. I swear I saw that. Maybe I'm just crazy, but yeah, I thought that was a forward pass there somewhere, not the case by the referee. What a comeback by the Springboks after that. There was a period in the game where when this was the second try was scored, basically the Irish put on 2 tries in about 5 minutes of the game, and it looked like the Springboks was falling apart. And then, sure enough, they collected themselves like world champions and build themselves, and eventually was like the big guns that we all like know that they are. Franco Mostas took it upon himself essentially to break through the defensive line, a dunk over for a try, and right at the end, Eben Etzebeth. Eben Etzebeth once, like I've said this again and again and again, he has like the heart of the champion, the qualities of a champion. The ball was like, it was looking like Ireland could have turned the ball over. Basically, Villa LaRue gets tackled behind the advantage line, and he basically had a messy, he almost looked like he was going to get turned over. He got tackled. He pops the ball back to Eben Etzebeth in a really bad spot, and Eben Etzebeth just took it upon himself. Like, cool-headed, calm decision-making, runs into 3 defenders. He draws 3 defenders and offloads the ball to Arensa, who goes in for the try, giving the Springboks an opportunity to potentially snatch the win. But ultimately, in the end of the day, something that I kind of was worried about going into this game did come out hurting the Springboks is the lack of a designated kicker. Yeah, Valimsa missed a really kind of easy one, 3-pointer in the first half, and then leading to essentially Cheslin Kobe taking over the goal kicking. Now, Kobe has played number 10 for his club before, but he's not really a designated kicker for the Springboks. And he missed 2 conversions. Even if he hadn't made the conversions, it was still, it was still gonna be a bit of if he missed 2 conversions. So if he got both, one of them was pretty difficult from the corner. But the other one I thought was easier, but it was, both of them on a bit of angle they were both quite reasonably difficult kicks. So to ask him to get both of them was a bit of a tall ask, considering he doesn't kick for the Springboks at all. So this was a difficult situation for the Springboks without a designated kicker. Johnny Sexton did miss 2 conversions as well, so it's not like, the Springboks in that regards gets a bit of a break. So he ultimately really came down to one penalty kick, that one that Valimsa missed in the first half was really hurting for the Springboks. Also, the fact that Valimsa missed that one really kind of easy 3-pointer, leading to the Springboks deciding not to take any penalties in the first half, essentially. They were reluctant to take the penalties. There were a number of opportunities where I felt like the Springboks should have taken the 3 because they have tested the Irish defense for 25-30 minutes and they could not break it. I thought it was, it was good enough to just take the 3 at that point. It was quite a huge effort to get themselves in a position for a penalty already, right? And they were not able to take the penalties because Valimsa wasn't good enough. So they had to go to the lineouts, try and get the ultimate reward again and again and again, even though they've already been trying that for a long time and not able to do so. And that really hurt the Springboks in the first half as well. And the Springboks was able to consistently put a pressure on the Irish team and not able to get anything out of it, essentially, for the most part of the first half of the game. So like I already mentioned, the rush defense was really good. The breakdown, the Springboks actually did really good to slow the breakdown speed. Something that we know the Irish team was spectacularly good at is the fast ball speed, and then the fast ball speed, the quick decision making by Johnny Sexton. Just slowing that breakdown a little bit with the rush defense really puts the Irish team on the back foot. They're not able to execute that flowy, beautiful rugby we've always seen in the past, like the way they beat the All Blacks. We didn't see much of that this game due to the really, really good rush defense. In terms of the set piece, the scrums was actually pretty close. Both teams had the moments where they got penalties and turnovers. Both scrums, it was an absolute war of attrition. The starting props were just so worn out. Stephen Kitsoff, I've never seen him actually being worn down so much that he was not able to scrum properly and had to be taken off. And then they put on Ox Unche that brought in a fresh set of legs and really just immediately brought the Springboks scrum back up in the energy again. Now again, Ty Furlong also was taken off at halftime due to a bit of I think he had an ankle injury maybe. But again, he was just huge amount of work has been put in. Before halftime, he was already carrying the ball just the work rate is way too high for these props to handle. Both teams also managed to disrupt each other's line out quite a bit. I think this is the first time I saw Eben Etzebeth getting the ball stolen off him. Quite a ballsy move by the Irish team as well. James Ryan, it was a 5-meter line out attacking by the Springboks. It's really dangerous. Usually the team don't challenge for this. James Ryan goes up and steals the ball from Eben Etzebeth just before halftime. I was super impressed with this. I can't actually remember. I don't think anybody was able to do that in the Rugby Championship. Not when Eben Etzebeth was the ball receiver, but I was surprised when he was able to do that. And finally, I think credit needs to be given to Keenan. I was criticizing him. I thought his work under the high ball was lacking a little bit. But he showed that he's actually one of the best guys in the world under the high ball. He was under tremendous amount of pressure this game from a multitude of the Springboks high ball specialists. And he was able to, handle every one of them without too much of an issue. In fact, pretty much, he was, defended quite well. I thought defended the high ball quite well, which may be one of the reasons why the Springboks did less kicking than I was expecting. I was expecting a lot more kicking, a lot more high ball targeting that a 22 mid area. The Springboks was more than happy to run the ball this game, and much more than they normally did. And David Dialendi probably did more carries than he's done in since 2020, since the break, since the pandemic. So I don't think he's ever carried this many times in a single match. I don't know, maybe since the World Cup. It's insane, like the amount of times he just ran the ball. He also played a bit as like a second playmaker as well. Some little grubber kicks behind, set the Springboks up a little bit as well. So that was quite something different to see as well. So overall, let's have a look at some match stats. 2 tries apiece. Run meters, the Springboks actually had more run meters. In fact, the Springboks were dominating like for the first quarter of the game. 322 run meters to the Ireland's 255. There was a stats at 12 minutes. Ireland already made 42 tackles at 12-minute mark. I thought this had to be a mistake. And Springboks only had to make 10 tackles at 12 minutes. So that was just like mind-blowing how crazy this game started off. And so the carries, 97 to Ireland, 106 to the Springboks. Halftime, 49 to 53 carries. Defenders beaten. 27 defenders beaten for the Irish team and 19 defenders beaten for the Springboks. At halftime, the Irish already beaten 18 defenders and only 8 for the Springboks. So the Springboks defense is definitely just a little bit off compared to the Irish side. And so, and this is probably the biggest one I saw, the missed tackle count. So at halftime, there was 81 tackles made by Ireland, only missed 8. Springboks made 66 tackles at halftime. They missed 18 already at halftime. So by full time, as you can see here, 147 overall for Ireland, 19 missed tackles overall. So Ireland missed 11 tackles in the second half, whereas the Springboks got a lot better in the second half, only missed 9 in the second half. But still, 128 tackles made, 27 missed tackles is not a good number for the Springboks. The missed tackle count has been creeping up a bit recently, something that I think the coaches will be hammering down a little bit. Kicks in play, 23-22. In fact, the Irish team actually did a tiny bit more kicking than the Springboks. I really thought the Springboks was going to do like maybe 32 to like 35 kicks this game, so way under my kind of like expectations in terms of the kicking game that was played this game, which is like good to see, like big shift for that strategy, because there was a lot of criticism that Springboks do way too much like pointless kicking, but they definitely shifted that strategy a little bit and moved more into a more like attacking style, which is quite interesting to see, to say the least. Lineouts, one lineouts lost both teams, one each, and like I said, Eben Etzebeth lost one. And that was very surprising. I can't actually remember him losing a lineout this year. So this might be the first time this year for Eben Etzebeth to miss out on a lineout, to get a lineout stolen from him. Scrums, no one actually lost their own scrum feed, but both teams has been getting scrum penalties from their own feed due to being able to manipulate the opposition scrum and either cause it to collapse or causing someone to pop out. So despite the looks quite even here in the stats for the scrummaging, let me just zoom this in a bit. Can I zoom this in? Oh, here we go. Yeah, despite the stats are pretty close in terms of scrummaging, both teams were actually getting under each other quite a bit in the scrum. That was quite a battle. Penalties conceded, 10 against Ireland, 12 against the Springboks. 1 yellow card. So there was a little incident where Cheslin Kobe and Peter Step du Toit, I think it was Mark Hansen, they both grabbed him and then they kind of just like lifted, tackled him into the ground. Initially, it looked quite bad for me. I thought that someone was going to get red carded, but from the replay, it didn't look that bad. It looked like they folded him onto his head. It didn't look that bad. He kind of just like rolled on his, landed on like his, on his back essentially, and then rolled onto his head, sort of. So it wasn't nearly that bad. I thought this could just be a penalty. Probably a yellow card wasn't necessary. But the referee said that was dangerous regardless and issued a yellow card to Cheslin Kobe for being the guy that initially makes the lift. And other than that, I think the referee actually did a quite good job for this match. I was pretty happy with his overall performance. But I did think that TMO should have picked up that, at least had a look at the forward pass going into the handsome try in the second half. But yeah, so let's have a quick recap of the game before the French game kicks off. So first up, the game kind of started off with the Springboks. It started off with the Ireland like in the front foot. 2 minutes into the game, Ireland already gets a penalty right in front. Sexton slots this one, and then the Springboks were able to kind of turn the momentum around, just pile on a lot of pressure, and just after like literally like 5-6 minutes of pressure, the Springboks gets a penalty right in front. Damien Willemse almost hooks this one right in front, and you can clearly see on the replay, he like lets out a sigh of relief after he kicked this goal that's right in front, right? You know, and you already starting to think, is this going to be a big problem this game, the kicking? Turns out, yeah, that was already the precursor of what was to happen to the kicking game, to the goal kicking. So in the 12th minute, yeah, like I was saying, 42 tackles already made by Ireland. But this was already like 12 minutes for the first scrum to occur, and there was a huge roar around the stadium for this scrum. Everybody wanted to see this scrum. This was, Ty Furlong against Franz Malherbe and Kitty, and who's the other guy? Andrew Porter on the other side, and everybody wanted to see this scrum. Absolutely brutal hits. You can hear it in the TV screen, just like hit. You can hear from the referee's mic, like both teams just like hit, 2, 3. It was just mwah, mwah. Absolutely brutal, absolutely beautiful. On the 16th minute, so this is when the yellow card occurred. Power drive into the ground. Cheslin Kobe gets the yellow card. On the 17th minute, Ireland gets a 10-meter penalty. So now Ireland has a one-player advantage. It looks like Ireland kind of gets the ball out, spreads out wide, and it looks like there was an overlap, right? Makazula Mapimpi runs up, boomfa, absolutely drills Keenan, timed it perfectly as Keenan catches the ball, so he couldn't get the pass out, drills him, and then his forwards follows up, turns the ball over. This was so huge. I jumped off my chair. Because it looked like there was an overlap. It looked like if Keenan could get the pass off, it could have been a try. But yeah, that was so huge. On the 19th minute, Johnny Sexton gets penalized for doing a tackle on DLND with a bit of a he grabbed his neck essentially, very soft. But yeah, referee says okay, there's a penalty. So the Springboks takes the 3. In fact, in my notes, I already written down 6-3, Springboks lead, and I went to get a drink because this was pretty easy. And just before I was gonna go, I saw the TV showed up a stats. The prediction was 42% or 50% for Willemse to get this one, and I was like, wait, here's the percentage, here's 50%. So I didn't go get a drink. I waited and watched this 50%. He missed by a long shot. It wasn't even close. It was so bad. And then I was like, I guess they didn't kick this one. And that was so bad. And this had a really big effect on the team as well, because from this point going forward, the Springboks no longer opted to kick for 3. They did opt to 1, but they really reluctant to opt for 3 from this one going forward. So yeah, what do you call it? So yeah, essentially on a little bit later on the 21st minute, the Springboks gets another penalty right in front again. Pretty much an identical situation. Again, very kickable position. They could not go for the 3 points. They went for the line out. They went for the maul, get staffed, and they didn't really. They loses the ball 2 phases later. On the Irish at this point is looking just kind of under the hammer a little bit. Their handling accuracy is a little bit off, not as crisp as they normally were, probably due to the rush defense and just being the Springboks, especially Peter Dutoy, able to slow that rock again and again and again down. And Ireland was constantly on the back foot. So on the 30th minute, the Yeah, again, the battle was so fierce. Jasper Visa was trying to get the ball out of the scrum, and the ball kind of like knocked back into the scrum, and then he popped out on the side, and then Peter Armani jumps on. So like I think Visa jumps on the ball, and Peter Armani gets a turnover. And yeah, it was just like the scrummaging was such a tight contest at this point. You can see both teams really like putting that extra bit of shove in to try to yeah. And Ireland did this in like quite in good success here. Despite the ball still went to the Springboks, but it popped out in an awkward position, allowed Peter Armani to get a turnover here. After this, there was a bit of random kicking, and then there was one point where Damien Valenza gets the ball. He tries to kick the ball out. He gets charged down by who's that number 2? By Dan Sheehan. Dan Sheehan runs up, uses a bit of a soccer skill, toes the ball in goal, and he tries to jump onto the ball with Jesse Curl on him, try to like stop him. And I thought for sure he scored a try here. And Jesse Creel didn't get the ball, but Sheehan couldn't ground the ball properly, and he knocks the ball on. But this is something that I thought was really weird here. I swear to God, this is a wrong referee decision. Isn't this a goal line dropout? Because Sheehan knocks on the ball in goal. This is a goal line dropout, right? But they ended up having a 5-meter scrum to the Springboks, which I thought was really strange. Let me know if this is correct or not, because I'm pretty sure this is a goal line dropout in the current law of rugby. But Springboks gets a 5-meter scrum. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was like, I don't know what's happened there. Anyway, a few minutes later, on the 34th minute, Ireland gets back on the attack. So Conor Murray actually picked and go and found himself some space. It's actually quite ironic. I was thinking to myself, the breakdown speed is a bit slow. Maybe Conor Murray isn't the right person to start for the Irish team. This is his 100th test, so he was kind of rewarded for being his 100th. He takes the ball out and he just darts through like a gap in front of him, and like immediately show me that I was wrong, that he deserved to be at the starting position. Despite the fact that he darts through and he managed to gain like 10-20 meters, the Springboks defense just slowly pushed the Irish team back to where they were before. So that was quite impressive. But despite that, the Franz Malherbe gets penalized here for a no-arm tackle. And then Johnny Sexton pops this one through. 6 points to 3. What do you call it? Oh yeah, so again, on the 37th minute, Damien Dielendi is starting to show some of that like second 5A skills that we see a lot from mostly like New Zealand and Australian teams. So he gets the ball, did a nice little chip kick behind for Jesse Creel to recover, which allowed the Springboks to get on front foot. They did get a penalty advantage out of this, and the Springboks go for the line out. The James Ryan steals this one from Eben Etzebeth, right from Eben Etzebeth's grip. It looked like there could be a bit of a timing issue between the jumper and the ball thrower, which was Malcolm Marks. It did look like the throw was like a split second too slow. Like Eben Etzebeth was already in the air, and then he throws the ball, and then it was a bit low. So then James Ryan only had to jump a tiny bit to spoil the ball. He didn't even have to get up all the way up, just have to jump a tiny bit to spoil the ball. So this was a bit of weird line out to begin with. But regardless, the Springboks gets a penalty not long after this, straight in front, and then they got Cheslin and Kobe to kick this. This was right in front, and Cheslin and Kobe almost missed this one. Like the ball literally scraped the post through, and it was literally like 10 meters out, right in front. The ball scraped through the post, and I was like, oh man, that was close. So halftime score, 6 points apiece. Second half starts. 2 minutes into the second half, the Springboks looking a bit scrappy. There was a scrum penalty against the Springboks for going down. Johnny Sexton gets smashed after he threw a pass that sends Hansen through. And at this point, I was just like, oh no. I think everybody in Ireland stopped watching the game or just wondering if Johnny Sexton can get up. But despite the fact that Sexton was on the ground, the It also did look like a bit of forward pass, but that aside, the slightest first section was on the ground. The Irish team actually did quite well, pushing through into the Springboks half, put them under a lot of pressure. A few minutes later, Springboks gets caught offside for a penalty. And now this is another kickable penalty for Ireland. Ireland decides to go for the 5-meter line out. Sexton gets up, I think a huge sigh of relief around the stadium. He kicks the ball out for a 5-meter scrum. Ireland sets up for a maul, and it looked like the Springboks had just defended small. Everybody gets in. The maul wasn't going anywhere, just gets pushed sideways, going straight out, right? It literally went for the corner post, right? And just as it was going out, Josh van der Fleer drops down and plants the ball down before he was pushed out. And Van der Fleer sneaks this one in for a try. Despite it looked like surely like the ball was out, like half the ball was out, and then everybody was like falling over. And George Van der Fleer sneaks in for a try. Johnny Sexton misses this conversion, so 11 points to 6. And on the 49th minute, just literally a few minutes later, the Springboks had a ball inside their own half. Poor like ruck protection. The ball just pops out. No halfback. Ball just pops out. I don't know what's going on here. Ball just pops out. And then the Irish, I think it was might have been Josh Van der Fleer again, or one of the forwards, goes in, scoops up the ball. He throws the ball to where he's about to get pushed out the sideline. He throws the ball back in, and Ireland players gets the ball. And I swear to God, there was a pass between two forwards that was forward, but that wasn't looked at. They spread the ball out wide, just quick hands, and Mac hands him all the way out to the opposite side of the field on the wing by himself, wide open, runs in for the second try for Ireland. 16 points to 6. Johnny Sexton missed this one again. But at this point, it was looking really concerning for the Springboks because Irish just literally belted 2 tries after 60 minutes almost of stalemate. So yeah, this 50 minutes actually, 50 minutes of like almost stalemate. So suddenly the game gets cracked open. So after this, there was a period of just like clinically, like the Springboks wasn't that great. There was another poor line-out throw inside the opposition 22 for the Springboks. There was another scrum collapse against the Springboks. And then on the 57th minute, Rassie Erasmus decided to swap the front row. So Bungi Bunabi and Ox Nche comes onto the field and immediately did a number on the Irish reserve props and gets a penalty. So that was clearly a good decision. Some of these players did look really, really tired, really, really worn out at this point. On the 58th minute, the Springboks at the 22-minute attacking lineout. It looked like, very rare, such a rare situation. It looked like basically the more stopped and Bungi Bunabi tried to do a roll, roll the maul. He gets caught, and it looked like to me, the Irish tackled him in the ruck, which should have been a penalty. But the referee just said the maul's collapsed and turnover for Ireland. So I thought that was a really weird decision there. I thought this might be one of the wrong decisions here by the referee, because it looked like to me he was tackled and in the ruck. Sorry, not in the ruck, in the maul. So anyway, I thought it was tackled. I thought that looked a bit. But it did look like he was in trouble. He was in trouble. Like he was getting wrapped up and with the ball. So I thought Faf should have taken the ball out. He hesitated and didn't do it. So after this, the Vincent Koch showed some really nice play, individual talent. He the Irish had a line-out throw. It gets spoiled, and Vincent Koch just jumped on it. And then a few minutes later, Koch gets the ball on the wing. He almost sets up. Who was it? Was it Malcolm Marks or someone? Might have been Wildkard Smith. He almost sets up Wildkard Smith on the wing after he makes a nice half break and try to offload. That was a really nice work from Koch. And then Wildkard Smith dropped the ball. I think it was Wildkard Smith. But anyway, on the 62nd minute, so 62 minutes into the game, Wildkard Smith gets the ball. There was a penalty against Ireland. He takes a quick tap, runs straight through, right? And this, I swear to God, this should have been a try here. Juan Smith runs straight through, and then again, I feel like I was really not happy about the performance of Faf de Klerk this game, by the way. And this is like the one of the, like, it kind of like bothered me a little bit. Like I said, like there was a ruck before where, like, anyway, so Smith runs straight through and Springboks in this front foot, and they look like they're going to score a try. So first breakdown, I think there was a crash ball. The first breakdown, Faf didn't get there. So Ox Inche gets in, picks the ball up, passes the ball, sits, I think someone else, like basically the Springboks did another crash ball, and I think it might have been Eben Etzebeth, or it might have been Franco Mostos, one of the locks crashed the ball, and the ball went forward again, and there was like 3 player overlap out wide, right? So imagine Inche passes the ball, and then that next ruck, Inche gets there before Faf again. Faf was just like jogging behind him. So Inche gets there, realizes that this needs to be a quick ball. He can't just stand there. He picks the ball up, tries to throw a quick ball, and it wasn't like accurate enough. The ball went a bit high and did Willemse, obviously there was like some Irish pressure on Willemse as well. There was a high, so he drops the ball. Willemse drops the ball. There was like 2 players out wide, like just wide open space. And yeah, I was like, why is Inche passing this ball? Like, if Faf de Klerk like handled this ball, I felt like Willemse probably wouldn't be in a poor position to catch it and drop the. I was so baffled by this. Why Faf failed to get to the breakdown, 2 breakdowns in a row, and a prop, the loose head prop gets there for both breakdowns before Faf. I'm sure the review committee, in the post-game review committee, they're going to have a talk about that in the Springbok dressing room. But that was like, I was really like angry when I saw that. I was like screaming, where's Faf? Where's Faf? On the 64th minute, Dion Fury was able to get a nice turnover. And Damien Willemse misses a touch. Yeah, this is really starting to hurt a little bit. On the 66th minute, so again, the Damien Dilendi, I think this was Damien Dilendi, shot a nice little kick again. A nice little kick behind to Cheslin Kobe. Like a little grabber kick down the sideline. And Cheslin Kobe recovers this. He throws the ball to Jesse Creel. And it looked like there was just one defender trying to defend the 2 of them. And Jesse Creel throws the ball back into Kobe as he's getting taken out of the sideline. And it looked like Kobe was going to score. He looked so close. He gets wrapped up just before this try line and then gets tackled. Nevertheless, the ball comes back out. The Springboks crash the ball a few times in midfield. And then eventually, they try to spread the ball out the other side. Billy LaRue gets wrapped up behind the advantage line before he can get the ball out. As he's getting tackled, he kind of like pops the ball awkwardly to Eben Etzebeth. Eben Etzebeth sees 3 defenders in front of him, and he decides to take on everybody, and then still gets the off. Like, this was just like pure heart and championship quality. He knew exactly what needed to be done to get this through. Sorry, this is not the Eben Etzebeth one. So this one goes back in. This one goes back into infield. Essentially around center field, the Springboks wasn't going anywhere. Franco Mostert is the first one that scored. Gets the ball and just decided someone needed to step up. He just pummeled himself. So he gets like tackled. He falls down short of the try line. Reaches out, goes in for the try. And then on the 71st minute, the Irish team was putting a lot of pressure. So basically, the Springboks were trying to run the ball out of their own 22 for some reason instead of kicking it out. Eventually, they decided to kick it out. Damien Willemse gets a return kick and he kicks the ball out on the full. So he had a really bad day today. He kicks the ball out on the full, leading to the Irish team getting an opportunity to attack. Few phases later, the Irish attack from the line out later. They get a penalty right in front for offside. So Johnny Sexton pops this one through. Ireland back 19 points to 11. On the kickoff, Damien Willemse redeems himself from the mistake. He recovers the kickoff. They try to spread the ball out wide. Mac Hansen goes in for tackle. He looked like he deliberately knocked on the ball. But the referee said he was in the process of making tackles. It was okay. I thought this was fair enough. It did look like he was just going for the tackle. Nothing too sinister there. The Springboks go for a big scrum and gets a big penalty advantage. The ball comes out. They spread the ball out wide. And this is what I was talking about. This Eben Etzebeth sees three. He get like Villaroo gets caught behind the advantage line. He gets an awkward pass to Eben Etzebeth. Eben Etzebeth looks up. He sees three defenders. He runs into all three of them. Still gets the offload to Alensa. Runs in the sideline. Puts the ball down. Try time for the Springboks. Suddenly the Springboks are back within 3. Cheslin Kobe missed this one. I think this one or the one before. The one before he hit the goal post, which was a little bit disappointing. He misses this one. And suddenly there was 2 minutes left. The Irish team was trying to run the clock down by walking to the halfway very slowly. Everyone's booing. Guess what happens? As a professional international referee, instead of giving a penalty, Nika pauses the clock. Like everybody else does. I don't know. Matthew Reynolds. If this was Reynolds, who's on the sideline, by the way, this would have been a penalty, right? Would have been a reverse penalty. Springboks gets a penalty at the 50-meter mark or a short... Yeah, it would have been a reverse penalty. But Nika just says, pauses the clock. Tells Ireland, you got to go quicker from now on. Otherwise, something's going to happen. And Ireland played out the rest of the game without delays. And Fields of Athenry, is that his name of the song? Field of Athenry was ringing around the stadium. Everybody was happy. 19 points to 16. And 5 years worth the wait. Thank you for watching this video, guys. Like and comment, subscribe. I got to go watch the French game. And see you guys a bit later. Cheers.